Hey, Pat here for another game of League of Legends. We're going to commentate this. I caught a 3-minute game. I just did one with Dyrus that was super short because it was a stomp. I don't think we have any pro players in this one, unfortunately, but I think it'll be a good game. Anyways, we try to figure out Lux mid. Let me quickly arrange so we can match up who's going against who. Yordle only top lane. We have Cannon versus Teemo, so this could prove to be interesting. Ooh, a Flask. Seen a lot of people using Flask, though Sustain is kind of the name of the game. Might have to try that. Might have to try to experiment that myself. The jungler for the blue team, Dr. Mundo, starting with a machete. And on the other end, we have a jungle Skarner, also starting out with a machete. But unless you want boots, that's kind of the name of the game now. We have a Lux mid versus a Talon mid, so that could be interesting. The AD caster versus AP caster. And bot lane, we have a Vayne, excuse me there, Vayne Nunu, which could be a pretty good bot lane. And next to a Caitlyn Sona. So a poke lane versus a speed kill lane. So we'll see what goes on. I'm going to watch bot lane at first, I think. Who knows where the explosive action will take place, but let's jump into this. Alright, so there's quite a bit of dancing right now. Caitlyn has already been beat up quite a bit by Vayne. Nunu has taken Blood Boil as his early skill. See what happens with that. Everyone's CSing, mid lane, there's a lot of dancing going on. Talon is kind of pushing Lux. Teemo is pushing Teemo is pushing Kennen, so we'll see what happens with that. Ooh, attack's going down. Kennen is poison, brought down to half health. Meanwhile, in bot lane, blue team is being pushed to tower, but that's kind of what Caitlyn's job is in this game. Ooh, landing several really solid shots onto Vayne. Meanwhile, Talon doing his best. Ooh, light binding lands on Talon. He's taking a ton of damage. Let me learn her other abilities. It's light binding. Lucent Singularity. Hitting with a Lucent Singularity. Meanwhile, in bot lane, Nunu has been separated from Vayne. He's running back into the fray, taking tons of damage from Caitlyn. Blood boiling Vayne as they're dancing around their tower. Their tower's taking tons of damage. This Sona and Caitlyn really know what they're doing. They're pecking away at both Nunu and Vayne, and then moving out of tower range after they manage to land a hit. Blue tower is already at 70% health. Meanwhile, mid lane, oh wow, we gotta rewind this because we could have a kill. Talon, Lux left the safety of her tower, loses the Singularity, missing Talon, missing a light binding. He jumps on her, landing several hits. She's shielding herself, but she has been ignited, and I think the potion will do enough. Yeah, Lux is gonna survive that right there. Although Dr. Mundo is going in for a gank in bot lane. Double of Mundo running in behind. Caitlyn has been knocked against the wall, but she flashes out of the way. We have an exhaust landing, ice shot landing onto Caitlyn. She's doing her best to run away, but now they've turned it around. Mundo is super low, and we have Sona turning around, landing her Q, and a double kill for Sona, killing Nunu and Dr. Mundo. Vayne has run to the tower. That was a great turnaround for Caitlyn and Sona. Let's see, nope, Lux did not die in mid. She managed to disengage. Top lane, let's check on them. They're not as oh, and wow, look at that. I was just saying they're not as exciting. And Ignite landing onto Kennen. They ignited each other, but the poison damage from Teemo and the earlier harass spelled the doom of Kennen. I think red team seems to, they might stomp this. As a full minion wave is crashing against bottom tower, we have Caitlyn and Sona going back to shop. Philo Stone picked up for Sona. Caitlyn, what is she going to get to match her shiny boots? We will find out. Vampiric Scepter on first buy, so that's 800 gold from her first hit. That's what happens when you get 2 assists as the AD carry. Lucid Singularity, kind of slowing down Talon under tower. Oh, we have a Skarner. Talon has jumped in on Lux, who is mid lane. Skarner's running towards her. He flashes in, landing a Q, and Talon continues to hit. She landed her shield, which has gotten her completely out of there, and Lux is scraping away with a little bit of health, a little over 200 health right there. Top lane, what do we have going on here? Teemo's already hit 6, so he's planting shrooms in the bushes nearby. Gonna port back to base. Let's see what he buys to reach his flask. Vayne is farming down bot. She has a Doran's Blade next to the Dagger and Vampiric Scepter of Caitlyn. A Piltover push. A double buff Sona, landing Qs and harassment. Meanwhile, in mid, we have a failed gank from Dr. Mundo. And Talon has jumped onto Lux and landed a kill. Dr. Mundo left a little too early right there. She should have left a little while ago. Mundo probably should have covered the lane. If you're a Lux with 200 health versus a Talon. And Dr. Mundo was getting in there, taking tons of damage from Talon. And he is going to try and escape with just a little bit of health. Landing cleavers to try and heal himself and swigging potions. Red pings are going down. Talon wants some help to finish off this Dr. Mundo. Kennen has managed to push. Oh man, pings everywhere. Let's check. Red lane has pushed that. Kennen has pushed Teemo to tower, so we'll see now that Kennen is hit. Oh, he's only at level 5. But he's managing to change that lane up a bit. Lux has walked back into the lane as Dr. Mundo runs back to the jungle. See what's going down bot with red team. Just more trap harassment. And a forever long-distance Q from Sona, harassing Vayne so badly she wants to go back to base. Meanwhile, in top lane, wow, Kennen has turned this around, landing his ultimate down on, and the stun for Teemo never made it to his tower. Nuked from about 60% health down to nothing. So this lane is turning around for Kennen now that he's gained a couple of levels. And a Doran shield, blocking some of that champion damage from Teemo. The new passive for that is it blocks 6 basic damage from every champion attack. There are levels like this that could still be substantial, especially for a Teemo that is building AP. Caitlyn and Sona have really pushed the lane. 2 full minion waves are going to be landed against that tower. Caitlyn using her net to get away. Vayne and Nunu are going in there as Lux has come down from mid lane, loses Singularity, and they have butchered Sona. They're going to be running after Caitlyn, who has smartly fled back to tower. Talon is coming down, though. Level 7 Talon. He's gone into the Dragon Pit. And he's leapt onto Lux, who thought she was safe. Ultimate landed and Ignite, and she is nuked just as quick. All of these nukers are going to make this very hard to commentate, I'm going to say, as most of the kills have not been slow and planned. A lot of these early game kills are just nukes. Meanwhile, top lane, Kenna is doing his best to push lanes, but Skarner is sneaking up down, coming in behind him. Skarner running in, popping his W to speed up, landing a couple Qs. No real damage as Kennen lightning bolts away, throws a shuriken to tell Skarner that he does not care. Mid-red is being pushed pretty hard by Talon now that Lux is spending her quality time dead. And we'll see Talon probably port back to lane. Going towards, of course, building a Brutalizer. See with this Caitlyn, Berserker and a Vampiric Scepter. The Sona is back in lane, the bravest Sona in the world, landing some Power Chord NQ harassment, hurting down that Nunu. They are yet again pushing. Oh, and we have a murder up top lane. Let's see what happened up there. Teemo and Kennen are facing off each other. Kennen has been pushed underneath tower. Oh, Blinding Dart landed onto Kennen. Ignite, Poison, several minion shots, and the Poison and the Ignite, as well as minion shots, managed to kill Kennen under tower. And Teemo is farming it up as best he can. Blue buff being given to Lux kindly by Dr. Mundo as he rushes up top to try and dissuade Teemo from taking it out. Caitlyn and Sona basically standing next to the tower as they nuke it apart and pelt Vayne and... oh, look at that. Top lane, Lux and Dr. Mundo, now that she has the blue buff, are both running up. Dr. Mundo throws a cleaver, managing to hit Teemo. He plants a mushroom, trying to defend himself. We have an exhaust. He's standing on top of his mushroom. The mushroom was not popped until after Lux managed to kill Dr. Mundo with a Lucid Singularity. Talon is coming in behind the blue lane. He is leapt onto Vayne, nuking her with his ultimate. Crescendo missing from Sona. They are diving underneath tower. Nunu is running away as best he can. Talon heading back up to mid lane. Sona standing in the jungle. Caitlyn doing her best to pelt away at this tower. And minions are going to take it out as Red is invading the double golems. Giving that to Caitlyn. Mid lane, Light Binding landing onto Talon. Lux has saved her life. We have Dr. Mundo and Sona running into each other. Dr. Mundo is going heavy on Sona, landing a cleaver, but he is being pushed away by Caitlyn, the Caitlyn-Sona duo. Everyone is heading towards mid. This Lux could have a very bad day right now. Caitlyn stealing raids. As Talon jumps in on Dr. Mundo, doing tons of damage. Lux shield almost saving. Light binding on Talon. Nunu, Lux ult, and he is beaten to death. Vayne popping her ultimate. They are chasing after the Skarner that was standing near that Talon, and they are running him down. But he is so fast and so tanky that he's going to be able to get away. Unless they decide to tower dive. Vayne flashes in, and she is punished with a Skarner ultimate. He drags her underneath tower range, and she manages to get away with barely 20 health. Pretty good gambit from that Skarner, just did not pan out. And a red turret is lost up top as Kennen pushes a lane pretty fierce. And we kind of have some resets going on. This is turning into a closer battle than I thought it would be. Red team is leading in kills and gold, but these last several encounters have kind of looked okay for blue team. Let's see what that new malady is like that Teemo built. Basic attacks deal bonus magic damage. That's solid. Also solid. So malady looks very cool. Okay, so now the bot lane is reconverging on each other. Vayne a little emboldened, but she's still double Dorans. Kind of a Season 2 build for, well, Caitlyn's build, Vampiric Scepter and Dorans, so she's going to get better sustain out of that. Nunu and Vayne dancing around Blood Boil style. Kennen is spying on mid. Double buff Lux doing stuff. Nothing is really happening at the moment, though at any moment Dr. Mundo jumps in. Talon has jumped onto Lux, making sure that he is farther down lane. And Dr. Mundo pops his ult. He's actually going after Talon. Talon looks like he's going to escape into the jungle. And Dr. Mundo runs into Talon one more time. Talon manages to nuke him down. Kennen is chasing after that. They're all running to top lane, which looks like it's going to go down. And too much action is happening at the moment. We'll quickly spot back to bottom. We have a Nunu... a dive. Nunu has jumped in on Vayne and Sona. I mean, Sona and Caitlyn tried to get down on Vayne. Nunu popped his ultimate. And in response, Caitlyn and Nunu managed to butcher Sona. Lux landing her ult. She's come down to join bot. Light binding landing on Caitlyn, taking her out. And solid push going on right here. Meanwhile, up top, probably an uninteresting fight occurred between Talon and Teemo killing Kennen. And in mid lane, we have Skarner farming behind the turret, making sure that mid turret it will have no defenses. But he is getting pelted from both turrets because of bad positioning. Dr. Mundo is heading up top. Going to do his best to try get some gold to push back this lane. Well, Skarner continues to free farm mid. Not looking good for blue team right now. I know I said a couple of good things for him, but the goal lead has already climbed over 3,000. And the tower kill is in advance. But let's see if they can defend mid long enough. Vayne is heading to mid, doing her best to push things back. Lots of pings going down. Trying to check out their jungle. Kennen. We're going to see Kennen and Teemo going to be fighting up. Teemo has already reached level 3 boots. Gains movement speed every time he hits someone. Talon with blue buff versus Lux. We'll see what happens. Oh, but Teemo has jumped in on Kennen, landing several shots. Kennen pelting back, but the poison damage is just too much. Kennen already brought down to around 40 health, being kept alive solely by Spell Vamp. Meanwhile, in mid, I don't want to miss this fight, so let's rewind real quick. Lux and Mundo are dancing around. Talon runs up, a similar bait he's been doing. Lux is in mid lane. Talon is running out from the woods, jumping onto her, landing his ultimate, his W raking her, but he's been hit by a light binding. Now an ultimate and ignite, and a tower hit takes him out. Lux survives with less than 40 health. That's solid Lux play going on right there. Meanwhile, the same horror story has been going on. Oh, Teemo is standing stealth next to blue buffs, seeing he could steal it from Dr. Mundo. And Kennen, oh, he murders Dr. Mundo. And will he land? And Kennen. Oh my god, and Skarner comes in to deal the final blow, but still a double kill for Teemo. He's stealth next to blue buff, that's fantastic. Waited for both people to bring him down low, popped a mushroom. murdered them all. The tragedy in bot lane. Flash crescendo from from Sona. Landing her Q, tons of damage. Nunu manages to walk away. And Vayne kills Sona? What happened right there? Instant replay. So as we can see, Flash crescendo holding Nunu in place. Vayne is just landing tons of damage and an exhaust on Sona. Pelted her up against the wall. But Caitlyn just out-damaging Vayne in every way. Oh, one after another. So Lux entered the fray, killed Caitlyn, who had killed Vayne, and now Skarner's in there, convincing Lux that she needs to walk away. He's going bot lane, pushing it back away from tower. While Skarner steals blue wraiths, and Talon pushes mid lane. We're going to be saying goodbye to mid tower unless Kennen can get there in time. We've yet to have a dragon in this game. We could see that happen at any moment. Talon is wandering into bottom jungle. He seems to have his eyes set for the bottom tower or that double buff Lux. Similar gambit. He is waiting in lane, and he's jumping onto Nunu, who's trying to get back in the lane. He did not heal, and he is nuked by the ultimate. He is stealth, but Vayne and Lux, will there be a light binding? Oh man, and the fattest Lux ultimate I've ever seen, taking out Talon as he ran into the jungle. Shot in the back. No honor in that. Sona has planted a ward by Dragon as Kennen and Mundo are heading towards it. Caitlyn is well on her way to an Infinity Edge, could maybe dissuade them. So we'll see what happens. Mundo has cleaved and he has started Dragon. Kennen is helping out as best he can. Ping's going down from both teams. They know exactly what's happening. Vayne is moving in to join. Sona Q harassment as she is brought down to half health by Sona alone. Pelting down, going by Caitlyn. An exhaust landing. Kennen ult, but a crescendo saves both Caitlyn and Sona from the Kennen ult. We have Skarner joining the fray. It was all Dr. Mundo and Vayne being brought down. Kennen grabbed by the Skarner ult, murdered by Caitlyn. And right now, Dr. Mundo is being murdered by Sona. Caitlyn taking down Vayne. Lux is coming right after the nick of time. And we'll see what you can do against these three. One kill after another. Really solid engagement from Red. Good synergy on this team. Feel bad for this Lux. Teemo, meanwhile, pushing like a boss in top lane. Nunu has landed an Ice Blast on a Talon, which does nothing at this point, and Skarner's jumping at them. They're doing their best to run back to tower. The lane is pushed. You have Sona, Caitlyn, Talon, and Skarner. Oh, and they're going to withdraw. They're going to fight against Dragon right now because blue team is being pushed on just about every front as Teemo has basically split pushed his way to top tower. And nope. Almost a Dragon Steal by Lux. Not good enough. Red team gets the Dragon. Everyone is disengaging, and mid finally goes down. Teemo managing to run into mid lane, join Talon, and they take out that tower together. They're now running into blue jungle. They're going to run behind Dr. Mundo. Talon has run behind Dr. Mundo, who is farming. Dr. Mundo has popped his ultimate to run away as best he can. Cleaver landing, and he is engaging Talon. Talon has jumped on him, landing his ult and an ignite, and Mundo is down faster than you could believe it. Vayne is farming bot. Kennen is farming top. Teemo is waiting in the bush in blue jungle and top lane. See who he goes after. Talon at half life, very little mana. Light binding misses by Lux. Loosen Singularity, just popping some minions. The dance of Kennen and Teemo could be taking place at any moment. Kennen is going back to base. Will he make it in time before Skarner hits the top lane? Kennen gets greedy. He is going after Teemo. And both Teemo and Skarner are after him. There is no tower for him to run to. And Skarner and Teemo using their mobility to try and get him. Ignite going down. Tons of poison damage. And Teemo just walks away, lets the poison finish the job. Crescendo landing down on Vayne, but she has used Cleanse. Oh, it's so sad. I have to laugh. I can't even describe it. Vayne tries to run away. Nunu comes in to body block the Caitlyn ult, but they wiggled in a certain way just to let that bullet get through. Loosen Singularity from Lux going in there right after the nick time once again. An ignite and healing going down on Caitlyn, doing her best to keep her alive. She's been exhausted. Ice Blast. And Lux takes down Caitlyn. Dr. Mundo has joined the fray as well as they chase down this Sona as Talon and Skarner have joined. Talon absolutely melts Lux as Dr. Mundo is having the worst day of his life. He is grabbed by Skarner and being pelted by Talon and Sona. They manage to take him down easily. They're chasing down a Nunu who has blood boiled himself and is trying to go to a very little health. Ice Blast landing down on Skarner. and he is going to maybe fake a base underneath the tower. Not a good idea. As Kennen heads back up top, I assume he'll be dead in a second. I don't want to miss bot lane at the moment. Vayne is going to be pushing. Nunu did not bother to heal. Skarner's trying to base back. Vayne is going in. She has popped her ultimate, landing tons of damage. He has been hit up against the wall. He flashes away, and Talon enters the fray, doing tons of damage, bringing Vayne down to low health. Red team is absolutely dancing around blue team at the moment, as Vayne is yet to complete any kind of item build at the moment. 2 Doran's Blade not really helping her out right now, but she does have a Vampiric Scepter and a Zeal. But if she can survive for a little bit longer, she did manage to chunk that Skarner pretty well. The lanes are resetting. Lux is actually going to be able to get blue buff without any trouble with the help of Dr. Mundo. Kennen is pushing top as best he can. But now that he's running into Teemo, he may just base, because Teemo is super scary. Talon and Lux, Battle of the Ages, red buff versus blue buff. We'll see what's happening right now, as Mundo and Skarner, mirror-wise, take out their own wraiths. Lux has run away into the jungle. We have disengages on all sides. Teemo is running through blue jungle at lightning speed, planting more mushrooms than you could believe. Oh, we have an engagement on bot lane. Blue team is run down. We have 4 members of blue team, everybody but Kennen, going after Caitlyn and Sona. Nothing happening. Lux is disengaging, but she's run right into Talon, the ultimate, and his combo managed to nuke her out. Crescendo landing on a Nunu, who came to her help. Cleaver going down. He's going to be able to disengage. Talon landing solid damage through the trees onto Dr. Mundo as he tries to run away. Nunu and Vayne just taking tons of harassment damage, and Talon is coming behind them. See what happens. Vayne pops her ultimate. Vayne and Kennen going in after Talon, not managing to do enough damage. He has leapt onto Vayne, chunking her down to absolutely nothing. Kennen's going in on Talon. He wants revenge, popping his ultimate, but Caitlyn manages to take him out. Caitlyn and Sona and Talon have come in even behind the tower. They want Dr. Mundo, and Caitlyn is using her ult, but it is not enough. That is Dr. Mundo. He's popping his ultimate even though he had less than 100 health. Caitlyn, Talon, and Sona getting the kill down onto Dr. Mundo as they just dive him in the bush. Caitlyn doing her best to clear the wave as they pound away. Teemo pushing, and Skarner split pushing. Talon almost taken out by Lux ult. She is back into the fray and is pushing back, missing a loose singularity and light binding, but she is doing plenty of damage. Caitlyn is absolutely chunking her though, and Nunu has come back in as well. I don't know if they should. They don't want to catch him. And Skarner has invaded the jungle. He's coming in behind. They're going to be pincered. Lux has figured this out. She's trying to run a light binding, missing. Skarner has grabbed Nunu into a crescendo, but he's popped out with his ult, doing literally no damage to anyone, but has managed to slow down Caitlyn enough so that she couldn't start pelting Vayne as of yet. Vayne under tower. She is leveled up, could be her last. Skarner is now disengaging, heading into mid lane. That Scorpion can be rather quick when he wants to be. And Teemo is planting mushrooms in top jungle. Kennen does not know this is happening, as the red team is just piecing apart the jungle, going for the same tricks again and again. Vayne is farming in bot lane away from tower. Talon is moving in stealth thanks to his ultimate and is chasing Vayne. Oh, Vayne pops her ultimate and is trying to get away, but Talon has stunned her. She knocks him away. Skarner has joined the lane. She's dancing between the two of them, trying to maintain stealth, but Talon takes her out, doing tons of damage. Double Black Cleaver build, not quite sure. Oh, it's passive, so yeah, it's not named. So yeah, I guess Black Cleaver stack. Teemo with no help, being shut down by Kennen. Lux and Nunu going down. Kennen is dancing around Caitlyn and Sona, and Lux ult misses, doing some damage to Talon. Light binding, I'm going to say merciful light binding, slowing them down as best it can. Loses singularity, almost taking Talon down to 0 health. Crescendo missing everyone as Lux and Nunu dance around, doing their best to avoid death. Caitlyn peppering them with shot. Light binding missing everyone as they fight in between a tower. The blue tower is actually doing a pretty good job of harassing down the red team. We'll see what happens. Nunu is going in there, but he does not have Lux on his side. She lands a shield. Light binding down into Caitlyn, loses singularity, bringing her down to half health, but she is life stealing, putting herself about, 10% health back up from the few minions that were by. Skarner is just staying in this jungle. They want to keep diving. Kennen has joined them in bot lane, but he's running away as Lux, oh no, that is Vayne, was grabbed by a Skarner ultimate, and she is brought down by Sona the Killer. Kennen ultimate going down, doing its best, but not enough damage, and both he and Nunu are brought down rather quickly by Sona and Kennen. This is a 7-2-13 Sona with a 7-3 Caitlyn. They are sharing. Caitlyn alone trying to fight off Mundo and Lux. She rightly runs away. And Talon takes down a turret in mid. Looks like this is a shoo-in. A little while ago it seemed rather close, but right now red team is absolutely demolishing blue team. Blue team may get away with Dr. Mundo getting their red buff though. That'll be nice. Talon is heading down into the jungle. Oh, and Mundo getting hit by Talon. Sona is coming in. He pops his ultimate, but he has been ignited. And Talon finishes the burst. Oh, what are you doing, Lux? Lux is farming mid-bottom lane. Talon is coming in behind her. Sona is coming in from on top. She is running out away. Power chord, Talon combo, and she is down. And somehow Caitlyn was involved in that. Not quite sure. Maybe she stood on a trap. Looking good for Sona. Let's see here. Vayne and Nunu are standing on a tower. Kennen seems to be trying to get their blue buff in hopes of just not donating it to red team. As Teemo continues his march of death down the top lane. Kennen has hit 2, maybe 3 shrooms. Chunked down to almost no health. Teemo has landed. Zhonya's Hourglass basically having him hold in place so that either Skarner or Teemo can take turns killing him. Oh, wow, and yet again, Sona landing another kill onto Nunu in bot lane. As Caitlyn and Sona pelt the bottom tower, Dr. Mundo looks absolutely helpless. Kennen is pushing top. Skarner pushing mid. Vayne is getting in there, popping the ultimate, knocking Caitlyn against the wall. A Crescendo is doing his best to stop them. Dr. Mundo gets the kill while Caitlyn... Oh my god. Caitlyn is getting the kill on Vayne, but it looked like Sona was the one to land the hit. A light binding down onto Sona as Dr. Mundo is doing his best to try and kill her. And Sona manages to kill Lux. A 2v1 on Sona, and she manages to secure a kill on Lux. And all of top lane has been demolished by Teemo. Skarner and Talon are pushing mid. But Teemo is, he's done his job. He ran down that lane. I think he rarely ever really left top. And we have Nunu and Kennen doing their best to try and push back. Red team is converging on mid. We'll see what goes on right here. Some pokes going on trying to convince them not to do that. Talon doesn't seem to care though. He'll run after whoever he wants. He seems to be wanting after Mundo, who has gone out to farm. He's leapt onto Kennen, though, who also went out to farm. Kennen ultimate going down, but the Talon combo just too strong. Kennen popping Zhonya's in hopes that his ultimate can finish off Talon. Talon taking, I think it would be safe to say, literally no damage from that. Mundo hiding in the bushes, jumping up with his ultimate and cleaver, and an exhaust onto Talon. Flash going down, jumping into the bushes, trying to waste that exhaust time, and a Lux laser doing some damage to Talon. And wow, Sona comes in healing, Crescendo, and Mundo is taken absolutely out. Talon surviving with very low health, but this Sona has so much power at this point that she managed to heal a bulk of the damage that was done to him. Caitlyn all going down. Ooh, Vayne manages to save Lux with a body block as she goes in full bloody murder after Sona. What is she doing? She is stealth with her ultimate there, rolling. They want, but Caitlyn walks in, kills Vayne easily. Nunu ult being popped, doing pretty good damage to Sona as they chase after this Sona, who has managed to kill Nunu, and meanwhile, Caitlyn has easily killed Lux. As the super fed team manages to kite. They should have given away a super minion, and Sona beat that Nunu to death. Kennen seems to be just kind of panic running around in his base, tossing kunais as best he can at a super minion that doesn't seem to really mind it. Meanwhile, Dr. Mundo is fighting Talon in mid, right next to the inhibitor. Talon combo doing a solid job, but the Mundo ult not good enough to stop Ignite. While Teemo has now claimed the bottom turret. Oh, and he has built a hurricane. So Teemo, tons of attack damage hitting everybody. Vayne walks in a little too close to Skarner, gets grabbed, gets Teemo'd, gets killed. All of the inhibitors are down, all of the towers are down. The March to Death is going down on the mid towers. Light Binding lands on Skarner, but you know what? Talon repays it by landing a combo on Lux. You're not touching my Scorpion, he yells. Murders her in one single combo. Teemo is running back and forth, trying to do damage on anyone who dare stands on the platform. Sona is doing that. Sona is single-handedly forcing the enemy team to stay on their platform. Crescendo, keeping them dancing where they're healing. And the Nexus goes down. Well, that is indeed a stomping. Some interesting Season 3 items being used on both teams, stacking them cleavers. So, hey, you want to do an AD caster, now seems to be the time. Catch you for another League match in the future.